5:30 p.m. Declaration of tonight's forum meeting. The opening declaration of opening is made at 5:30 p.m. Welcome everyone, from people online and people in the gallery. Tonight is a forum council meeting. It is a chance for councillors to ask questions from all the reports that are presented to us. So we have lots of questions and answers tonight, so we can make the decisions at next week's ordinary council meeting. Just to reiterate, this is a fact-finding meeting, not a decision-making meeting. So everything will be made, the decision will be made on every item next week. So we're on page 6. So item number 2 is opening procedures. 2.1 is acknowledgement of country. On behalf of the Shire of Northern, I'd like to acknowledge the continuing connection of Aboriginal people to country, culture and community, and embraces the vast cultural diversity throughout Australia. On the land of the Ballardong and Whadjuk Noongar people where we meet, that covers our Shire, we acknowledge and pay respects to elders past, present and emerging. If you're not aware, those online and members of the gallery, that's members of the public, this meeting is being live streamed and audio recorded, and it will be made available on the Shire of Northern's YouTube channel. If members of the public would like to have access to the recording of the meeting, they can do so via the Shire of Northern website. We have the attendees, so as usual, I'll go from left to right and welcome councillors. Welcome Councillor Williams, welcome Councillor Mancelli, myself, President Antonio, welcome Councillor Ryan, and welcome Councillor Bigland. So we have 5 councillors in attendance tonight, and we'll get to the other ones in a minute. And the staff, welcome to the Chief Executive Officer, Ms. Terralink, Executive Manager Engineering Services, Mr. Devsich, Executive Manager Development and Community Services, Mr. Hunt, Executive Manager Corporate Services, Mr. Streets, Manager Governance and Risk, Ms. McCall, Governance and Risk Officer, Ms. Blase. Welcome all. Item 3.2, apologies, that is nil. Item 3.3 is approved leave of absence. That's the other councillors. Councillor Gierek has been granted a leave of absence from 4th July 2026 to 31st July 2026 inclusive. Councillor Hughes has been granted a leave of absence from the 21st of July 2026 to 28th of July 2026 inclusive. 3.4 absent is nil. So then we go to page 8. So we have item number 4 is disclosure of interest. For those in the gallery or online, councillors make a declaration when they have an impartial, financial or proximity interest in an item that's been presented. So I'll read these out now in full and just remind everyone as the item comes up that councillor has declared a sort of interest. So 13.1.2. Lease of Village Green, Lot 14, 174 Fitzgerald Street Northern. Councillor Ryan has declared impartiality as the owner of the property is known to Councillor Ryan. That is the same for President Antonio, that's myself, same item. The owner of the property is known to President Antonio. Same item, 13.1.2, Councillor Mancelli has declared impartiality. The owner of this property is known to Councillor Mancelli. And 13.1.2, that's all those for 13.1.2. 13.3.6, this is Brown Road Public Access Way or PAW. Councillor Mancelli has declared impartiality. The adjacent owners of the property are known to me through the nursery business and the term as a councillor and his term as a councillor. Thank you. Same item, 13.3.6, Brown Road Emergency Access Way. Councillor Bigland has declared impartiality. Residents near Brown Road and Olive Road are known to Councillor Bigland. 13.3.6, Councillor Williams, same item, has declared impartiality. Several neighbouring property owners are known to Councillor Williams, and Councillor Williams has discussed this matter at length with some of the people mentioned. Same item 13.3.6, President Antonio, that's myself, has declared impartiality. Some of the adjacent owners are known to President Antonio. We have 13.3.7, Bushfire Advisory Committee meeting recommendations. Councillor Mencelli has declared impartiality. Some of the Bushfire Advisory Committee members are known to Councillor Mencelli. It's President Antonio as well for the same reason. Some of the Bushfire Committee members are known to President Antonio. Councillor Biglin has declared impartiality. Members of the Bushfire Advisory Committee are known to Councillor Biglin, same item. And then I'm just double checking. The other items that we have declared interest on are behind closed doors, so I'll get to those as we get there. So, and members of the public are aware that councillors can declare a disclosure of interest as the item comes up, before the item comes up. So then we now go to page 9, which is item number 5, announcements by the presiding member without discussion. So that is taken as read. So then we go to page 11, which is item number 6, public questions, which I do believe we have at least one question. I didn't brief you before, but can you please come up to that microphone there, state your name and click the red button. State your name and where you're from, please. Red button down the bottom. Thank you.
James Martin, I'm a resident in Wundowie, also a local designer, architectural designer. Just had a question about the changes to local planning policy 19. There's some proposal around rewording for the building envelopes, and it's just not clear in that as to it says something about the local government can make the determination. It was previously clear as to the appeal process if there was unhappy with the decision. That seems that wording has been removed. So I think there needs to be some clarity. Or what is the process, is the question. What is the process of appeal? Is it via council or is it via SAT or something similar if we are unhappy, the applicant is unhappy with the proposal?
I will go to the officer in a minute. So the recommendation decision is next week, so the council can word the proposed policy how they like, but that's more of an administrative thing. But I will direct towards the officers just to answer the rest of the question, please.
Yeah, and I guess the other point is that if council does adopt this next week, it's advertising, seeking public comment as well, so the chance for people to see that. So I think taking that question on notice, we'll have the officer contact Mr. Martin, have a discussion about it, but I think there will probably be a bit more clarification for the meeting next week in terms of what the process is, just because we are in a SAT proceeding at the moment, which may give us a sort of a precedent for how we handle them moving forward. But I can't speak too much about that SAT process because it's confidential, but I think there will be an opportunity either way for us just to clarify the policy, what the appeal process will be.
Thank you. All right, okay, thank you very much. Is there any further public questions? No? Okay, so then we're still on page 11. Item number 7 is response to previous public questions taken on notice. That is nil. Item number 8 is receiving of petitions, presentations and deputations. 8.1 petitions is nil. 8.2 presentations. It's just I forgot to bring it in tonight. There is just a forewarning for the next week's council meeting. There will be a presentation by myself, one on behalf of St John Ambulance and one on behalf of myself. So it's just a forewarning, it's for want of a better phrase, for the start. So 8.3 deputations, which is basically a statement. I do believe we have one member of the public who'd like to make a statement. And so exactly the same drill, so if you can come up here please. Press the microphone, state your name and where you're from, and it's done. You can hand them to Councillor Williams and we'll grab it. We'll just hand the rest of Councillor Kelly.
No. This is my first time. If I done something by mistake, apologize.
Sorry? And we'll just grab your name and where you're from.
Yeah, sure. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for giving me opportunity to represent my vision, my dream for the Cooking and Food Festival. I am Lana Matni, President of Empower Australia and Thailand Foundation, non-profit organization, also celebrity chef, Thai cooking queen. I have been left Northern for 2 years. Today I come back with a good news. I have been around Australia to represent my country, Thailand, for my cooking passion with TV show, TV series, celebrity chef, master chef around Australia. Today I'm back for a good news and bring cooking and food festival to Northern. Cooking and Food Festival. This project is more than food and festival. It is a community identity bring that people together from cooking, food, culture, education, and tourism. Our vision, the Cooking and Food Festival, is a community initiative designed to bring people from different cultures together from food, cooking, culture, education, and local business development. The festival will celebrate multicultural diversity while supporting economic growth, tourism, healthy living, and community well-being. Background to share traditional develop practical skill and strength social connection. We believe food always bring people together and be stronger. And I believe this festival will not only attract visitors but also generate economic benefit, promote multicultural understanding, and create lasting social value. With your support, we can build an event that becomes a proud annual traditional and positive contribution to our community. I truly believe that I cannot make this vision reality on my own, and I need all your support. Thank you for your time and consideration. I sincerely hope that we can make together make the cooking and food festival in reality. Thank you again.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Is there any other member of the public who would like to make a deputation? No, so then we will go to page, we're still on page 12, which is item number 9, application for leave of absence, that is nil. Item number 10 is confirmation of minutes. First item is 10.1, confirmation of minutes from the ordinary council meeting held on the 17th of June. Is there any questions or clarifications, councillors? No. So item 10.2 is notes from the council forum meeting being held tonight. So I'll deal with that next week because that'll be a new item to see if there's any clarifications. And then item 10.3 is confirmation of the minutes from the special council meeting held 8th of July 2026. No questions, Councillor Mangelli. Any questions or clarifications? No. No. So then we go to page 13, item number 11, items brought forward for convenience of those in the public gallery. I don't need to at the moment, so we'll just continue on. Item number 12 is reports of committee meetings, that is nil. Item 13 is officer reports. 13.1 is the CEO's office. There's 13.1.1, Western Australian Local Government Association, WOLGA, Annual General Meeting. Is there any questions or clarifications on that?
Yes, Mr. President.
Yes.
I'm unable to attend on that occasion because I'll be interstate.
So we'll need to amend
the recommendation.
Amend the recommendation. And that was my supplementary question, is have any other councillors apart from the 3 indicated in the report advised they're going?
At this stage, we've only received Councillor Williams. However, we have sent a follow-up email to confirm if any other council members wish to attend.
Thank you.
In the process of buying that.
Thank you. So any other questions or clarifications on that item, councillors? Then we go to page 22. So 13.1.2, lease of Village Green, lot 14, 174 Fitzgerald Street, Northern. Just a reminder that President Antonio, Councillor Ryan, Councillor Michelli, and that's it. Declaring partiality in this item. So any questions on this, councillors? Just remembering there's a couple of confidential attachments, so just be careful with questions, please. Yes, Councillor Bigland.
Thanks, Mr. President. Has the council previously considered purchasing this block of land as opposed to leasing it? Thank you.
Yep, there was discussions with the landowner several years ago now. At the time, the council indicated it was not interested in purchasing the land. It hasn't been revisited since then.
Follow-up question on behalf of Councillor Bigland. Is it worth asking a question? It's probably a hard one to answer, but is it worth the CEO asking a question?
We could ask the question. I guess the issue is that it's probably not something that we could resolve without considering what the process would be if we were interested in purchasing it, but also whether it's possible within budget to meet what might be a possible purchase price. We could certainly explore it. But it would probably take more time than we've got before the lease expires at this point in time.
Thank you. Do you have a question, Councillor? No. Any further questions on that item? No? Okay, so then we go to page 49. So 13.2 is engineering services, which is nil. 13.3 is development and community services. We've got 13.3.1. So review of local planning policy 24, outbuildings in the rural, residential, rural, small holding and rural zones. What I might do, if it's all right, can I invite the appropriate officer up, which will be Mr. Hunt, just to give us a quick briefing on each of these items as they come up, please. Mr. Hunt.
Item 13.3.1, the review of the outbuildings, that was one that was worked out with councillors, opposed to some changes to some of the sizes there, and then seeking consent to go to advertising, so it all comes back to council after the advertising procedure process, I should say. And if there's any questions?
Yeah. Okay, Councillor Williams first, then Councillor Bigland.
It's on page 6, farm building shed. It says as defined by the NCC. Wondering about the NCC other than Northern Chamber.
Code?
Yeah. Is that
Probably should not abbreviate, have a definition for that. So.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Councillor Williams. Councillor Bigland.
Mine's for the next one.
Oh, okay. For the next one, but just double checking. Most of it is just we did workshop, but most of it's just updating. So there's not a lot of changes. Like we've updated wording, the right policies, procedures, state government laws, everything behind that.
Yeah, it's a lot of sort of tidy up from just naming, and but there's also been some changes to the maximum areas, which is highlighted on page sort of 59 is probably the main changes. Adding some additional size of land and a different size shed that can be approved on that. So yeah.
Thank you. So any further questions on that one, councillors? Mr. Hunt has finally volunteered to stay up for a couple of items. So then we've got the next one on page 70, which is 13.3.2. Review of local planning policy 19, residential design guidelines for the rural, residential and rural small holding zones. Just for members of the public, anyone looking online, that was a question that Mr. Martin asked. He asked a question about this item. Yep.
Yeah, again, this was also workshop. Probably the main changes to the building envelope clause. The rest is fairly, again, just fairly straightforward in terms of some naming convention's been changed. The main one is to do with that building envelope. We're looking at going to building exclusion zones for some of the new subdivisions. So it's very restrictive at the moment with building envelope. And whereas it's a building exclusion zone where it identifies areas that aren't suitable for development. That's generally the way that a lot of local governments are going.
Yeah.
But I think in answering the question from the member of the public tonight, there probably needs to be a little bit more clarification in terms of the building envelope application for building envelope modifications determined by staff what the appeal process is or what the next stage is. So as I say, we've got a SAC case at the moment which will likely be presented back to council next month. But in the situation, we probably just need to clarify that in the policy.
Thank you. And I know Councillor Beagland had a question.
Okay.
Or at least one.
Thanks, Mr. Brenner. Firstly, just on page 80 and 81, there's just a couple of, under the variations of the mandatory requirements development, the approval of full needs to come out of the council. It should be just approval of the local government. And then on page 81 at the top, again, the full needs to come out. That's just the right one, those ones. So my first question is, can staff clarify whether a standalone application to relocate a building envelope is considered a prescribed development approval function under clause 84C of the deemed provisions, or whether it is a separate planning decision under local planning scheme number 6?
Yes. So that the application for building envelope modification under the theme provisions or under the local planning scheme?
Under the local planning scheme. Okay. And bearing in mind what you have just commented on, you may not be able to respond, correct? About your set.
Probably not, because at the moment it is confidential.
My other one was the local planning scheme number 6 allows a building envelope to be varied, where it can be demonstrated that the proposal will not be detrimental to the amenity, landscape, environment, etc. Given the scheme doesn't explain how the assessment is to be undertaken, why are we removing the detailed assessment criteria from LPP 19 that helps applicants demonstrate they meet those requirements?
The clause in the scheme is still valid, so that still applies. So probably what we could do is also reference that section of the scheme in the policy itself. So that is, I think it should be referenced at the start, and it does reference local planning scheme number 6, but then maybe specifically the specific clause that deals with building envelope modifications. We could reference in the policy document.
Subsequent, I think my question would be for transparency. Would you not consider for transparency reasons that we should be making it as easy as possible for applicants to understand what they need to, their criteria is they have to meet should they want to be able to shift an envelope?
Yeah, I think we should. Yeah, I'll agree with that. Next slide. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, Mr.
I
President.
didn't know whether you just tapping or had a question.
I do have a question. My question is quite brief. Is there any appetite for flexibility or discretion by officers in relation to this building envelope issue?
So, how to answer that?
Well, it wasn't
The
designed.
application comes in to modify building envelope. Staff look at what the provisions of the scheme are and what the criteria is. So we modify building envelopes all the time. It's quite a common practice. Not a common practice where we don't agree to modify building envelopes. So if the reason for it and it doesn't affect those criteria, then we have generally issued modified building envelopes.
I think the answer is yes.
Yeah. Does that your question?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And sorry, Mr. Hunt, I've just got to ask, it's just refreshing. In there was about vegetation protection. Just wanted to clarify, I just couldn't recall in our workshops what the vegetation protection was.
Sorry.
Oh, you didn't have the page. Sorry, my apologies.
It's, do that.
Yeah. Just have a quick look.
Maybe take that one notice quickly.
Yeah. And I apologise, I didn't have a page. That's fine. So any further questions, councillors? No? So next one's pretty straightforward, page 93.
Yeah, it's a revocation, is that wrong?
Yeah, revocation. I better read that. So 13.3.d, revocation of local planning policy number 10, developments and abutting rights of way. So revocation for members of the public is getting rid of it. Oh, I shouldn't say that sounds a bit flippant, but
Yeah, I think that the issue there that that's covered by other policies and sort of the statutory planning framework for subdivision referrals, etc., and development applications.
yeah. So any questions on that, councillors? That one makes sense. It's straightforward.
There is, I think there is a provisions in there, Chad, in relation to how close you can go to the round boundary with the laneway. Is that right?
Yeah, that's covered under the art code.
Well, yeah, okay. So it's covered elsewhere. So that's what you're saying.
Yeah, good question.
Good.
Good answer. So if no further questions, we go to page 103, 13.3.4, revocation of local planning policy number 8, retrospective planning applications fees. Again, that's self-explanatory.
Self-explanatory, already covered under the planning and development regulations, so that's covered.
Yeah, so just wanted to double check from councillors, no questions. So then we go to page 112, which is 13.3.5, renewal of local planning policy number 26, container deposit infrastructure.
Yeah, again, that's a fairly straightforward one, just renewing it, changing the date, no change proposed. So that was fairly standard, sort of statewide policy that council adopted.
Yeah, so that's it. So no, any questions on that, councillors? So then if there's no questions, we go to page 122. So 13.3.6, Brown Road Emergency Access Way. Just going to remind President Antonio, that's myself, President Councillor Mancelli, Councillor Biglan, Councillor Williams, declared partiality on this item. Is even though the report's self-explanatory.
Again, it's been 12 months since, over 12 months since the last council resolution. Again, it's been in place for approximately 12 months. The council resolution was to provide a further report back to council, which is what is presented at the moment.
Yeah. So any questions, councillors? Councillor Williams?
It's actually around if, where it says should council want input from the neighbouring properties and local emergency services, there is the option of either taking consultation or providing a further report. To do that, with the best way to be to defer or lay this matter on the table and request other staff. Is that the, I don't know, so that's probably more of a.
Probably an alternative
Yep. I have a supplementary question. In terms of the gazettal of that to a particular access way, it was always a public access way as opposed to a public emergency access way. Is that correct or not?
I think we've been through this process on a number of occasions. I think the previous council resolution is that it is an emergency access way.
Was that in the Gazette?
Well, that's in the council resolution.
Okay. Can we get that clarified for next week if possible?
Sorry, we want to clarify what the status of that.
Yeah, whether it's a public access way or a public emergency access way, because they are two different animals.
Yeah, I believe it's been clarified in the previous council report, but yeah, we can do that for next meeting.
Yeah. Any further questions on 13.3.6? No. So then we go to page 129. which is 13.3.7, Bushfire Advisory Committee recommendations. Just to remind the President Antonio, Councillor Mantelli, Councillor Cleveland, with clear partiality inside, Councillor Williams, has declared partiality inside. Anything on the report, anything you need to say, Mr. Hunt?
No, fairly straightforward. Just looking at the option for some cubic metre burn, which we causing a bit of, I guess, administrative issues and in terms of issuing fire permits. So just to investigate what the options there are, and will likely be a amendment to the fire break notice, and obviously just the appointment of the leadership group, which is appreciated for their continuing service to the community.
And this is probably more for the recording, but just clarifying that the notes from the staff is supporting the Bushfire Advisory Committee recommendation about that cubic metre burn.
Correct.
More for the recording. So any other questions, councillors? No? So then we go to page 1. Thank you, Mr. Hunt, sorry. Page 144, which is 13.4 corporate services. I'm going to invite Mr. Streets up, just in case there's any questions. I will start the process and say 13.4.1 accounts and statements of accounts for June 2026. Just if you don't need to explain anything because it's standard. Are there any questions on this, councillors?
Yeah, I've got 3.
Yeah.
There was one on page 173 in the first edition of the agenda, where it talked about finance consultant. Is that Leanne, is it? $19,266.
Yeah, that'd be right.
Yeah, okay. And then the second one was Stera Avon Valley plant on page 175. Invoice was dated the 28th of the 2nd, 2025, and it was for $10,560. Final claim for BKB, Bike Hub upgrade. Is that the
That'd be the BMX track.
the BMX track?
I can't answer that. Is it the BMX track? Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think we're terribly happy with the outcome of that, were we?
Probably have to take it on notice to verify.
Right. It might be that was the final payment of the retention after the rectification works are undertaken.
Oh, good. Okay, well, that's reassuring. Okay, and the final one, Galt Geotechnics, page 188, Coates Road, $6,050 per consultant. Was that to look at the condition of the road?
Correct. Yeah, we asked them to go out and do some inspection on both.
Thank you. So any other questions on this item, councillors? No? So then we go to page 198. So we have 13.4.2, budget adoption 2026-27. There was, the budget was included in the agenda, but there was a separate one I think must be updated.
Yes, so the statutory budget was distributed. We have actually provided a hard copy that's just highlighted a couple of minor amendments in the overview of the budget to ensure that it aligns with the information that's in the budget itself. And also because we used the more template, we had to just change the city of somewhere to the Shire of North. So that's
right.
That's been corrected in the printed version. Then we'll have that available for next week as well.
Thank you. So we do have a consultant on standby as well if we've got questions. So I want to see if there's any questions, councillors. So yeah, give Andrew to give us a briefing. Sorry. Apologies, Mr. Streets. I invited you up and didn't get you to talk to us.
Yeah, so as per the Local Government Act, we've presented the statutory budget for 26-27. As we said, there's a hard copy that's been distributed to correct a few typos. So budget workshop number 4, there were some projects removed to ensure that we had a balanced budget. Since that time, there's been a number of year-end adjustments that has altered our opening position, and so we're proposing to, or intend to, transfer that additional surplus to reserves. And at budget review, we will bring some of those projects back in that we removed to balance the budget to ensure that we, as close as possible, can follow the council plan for 26-27.
So the first question is, Councillor Michelli has already asked it, and I'm asking the same one. So that's genuine adjustments that can be, so basically it's cash deposits that can be made to reserves now for items that we pulled out.
Yes, yeah.
So, and just for clarity with all councillors and anyone watching, that includes 300,000, I believe, for the All Abilities Playground. So that was removed for a future year, but that's been brought back in. And other items, I can't remember the rest. So was there a total? So I didn't add it up. There was quite a few amounts being recommended to go back to reserves.
Yeah.
Was there a total figure? I don't think I saw that. Or did I miss it?
It was about 1.5 million, and the intention is to, we had a discussion at Budget Workshop 4 with council members that they're quite keen to rebuild the reserves, particularly since the reserves have significantly reduced since the COVID period. And as indicated by Mr. Streets, we did remove a number of projects as well. Now that the end of year position is more positive, the intention will be to align back to what is in the council plan, because we did have to take some things out that are in the council plan, but this certainly allows us to start rebuilding some reserves, but we anticipate that a lot of that funding will be used in this financial year to deliver the projects. We do have some fairly extensive and probably high value projects coming up, and part of the reserve allocation is also to the waste reserve, which is going to be really important in future years in terms of what we need to do with the landfill.
And this is might be a loaded question, Mr. Street. Is page 246 of our agenda, to me, is that one of the most important pages because it's a summary of the entire budget? It's a loaded question.
Yes. Yes, so
So that it's for transparency with the members of the general public. So yeah, it's just clarifying that we've done adjustments received grants up early. Just want to clarify, we've received grants up early, so we're adjusting that so that we have a balanced budget for 26-27.
that's correct, yes.
Yes. And yeah, that's clarity. So if anyone does want to look, that's an important page to look at, page 246. That's not the members of the public. Yes. What's a loaded question? Mr. Streets, was there anything else that you wanted to add? Councillors, questions?
No.
Leanne's just on standby.
I think she was only on standby.
We needed it, so. And council, as we're aware, we do this process every year. There's a number of recommendations that we have to pass one by one next week regarding everything, fees and charges, everything like that. So thank you, Mr. Streets. That's your item. You got to wait for that. Then we go to page 454. So we've got item 14, which is matters behind closed doors. Can I have a move in a second that we go behind closed doors? Councillor Mancelli is moving, Councillor Williams is seconding. Procedural, I'll put that straight to the vote. All those in favour by a show of hands? That's 5-0, that's carried. I'll wait for all members of the public to come back in. Members of the public. So members of the public, we're on page 455 of our agenda now. We've come out from behind closed doors. So we have item number 15, motions of which previous notice has been given is nil. Item 16 is urgent business approved by decision, that is nil. Item 17 is declaration of closure, which is made at 6:24 p.m. I'd like to thank all councillors for their questions, thank the officers for the professional reports and the answers that were provided, and councillors for their questions, obviously. Anyone got in mind?